Welcome to episode 21 of Confessions of an Indie Author. Couple things throughout the last week. This past weekend, first convention of the year, PeoriaCon, which is kind of really close to my hometown. It's a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday. It's kind of a pop culture convention. They have a little bit of everything there. Usually have some sort of guests there to kind of bring in a crowd for autographs and whatnot. I've been doing this show since I think it started in 2018. And of course, they did have a show in 2020. It was like in March, so it was before COVID lockdown, and they did not have one in 21. I think they started back up again last year in 22. Saturday sales were excruciatingly slow. I sold 4 bags of coffee all day. It was kind of like a special kind of torture. There were people though, like that was the thing. There were tons of people, tons of traffic. We just didn't sell anything in our booth. And so there could be a lot of things maybe that could contribute to that. One is, I've done this show for several years. So the people who come back, that have been there before, if they're going to purchase my books or coffee or a tumbler, chances are they've already done that in a previous year. So I'm kind of coming up on the thought process that, maybe I'm just saturated in my hometown market. And so I am trying to look at conventions that, are a little further from home, branching out a little bit further from my home base, if you will, to try to gain fans in other markets, because I think I've pretty much exhausted the Peoria market. So Sunday sales were better. There was a lot of interest in the realm of Thraul on Sunday. We had several people just love the art. We had several people purchase art, which we thought was, going to be something that was going to sell regularly, and it hasn't. But since the project, we have all 4 books. We now have another first volume of the Dragon Dynasty and the Diamonds. We have a game. Now that the project is getting larger, I think it's causing more people to notice it a little bit more. We had somebody buy all of the books and a couple pieces of art. We had somebody else buy a couple pieces of art. So there's definitely the interest in Realm of Thrall is increasing, which is promising, especially, in that market. That is relatively new to that market. We've had it before, but it's not been completed before. So I think it's really starting to garner attention now that we have, a full set of books and all of the art is completed. It's getting some more people to look at it. One of the things that I expressed this to the organizer. PeoriaCon has always had 8x8 booths, and the booths are, I want to say they're like, I think they're $100 for an 8x8 booth. It just, by the time you get everything in there, I think the booth was just very narrow, and it was hard. Number one, it's hard for us to sit in there and sell. It's almost like you have to stand all day outside the booth and help people that way. There's really no good place to sit inside the booth because of the size of the booth. And if you sit off to the side, you have to be careful to leave enough of an opening that people will want to come inside the booth. And typically, even if you have room for one person to get into the booth, most people travel with more than one person when they're going to a convention. And so if you can't accommodate, at least 2 people in the booth, or if they feel cramped in any way, a lot of times they just won't enter the booth. They'll just kind of look and glance, and then they move on. And so I do think the booth size has something to do with, people entering the booth. So we'll see. I don't know I'm on the fence of whether I do another one of these. I might have to wait until it goes to a different venue where maybe the booth sizes are a little bit larger. I'm anticipating then he will up the price of the booth based on the price of the venue, but I don't know. It's going to depend. A lot of times books don't do as well as the pop culture conventions. Now, the same organizer is trying to put together a game convention, and that would be something that I would probably sell better at that than I would at the pop culture conventions. And the reason why is that pop culture conventions, people are there looking for, Spider-Man and Batman and the Avengers, and they are looking for well-established characters, their favorite characters, their fans, right? It's a fan expo. So original content is sometimes a harder sell there, although all of that content that they're consuming at one time was original content. So hopefully, I think people are recognizing that the realm of Thraul could be, something in the future, that it's original content now, but it may develop a larger fan base and become bigger. And if you buy in now and you get some of these early items that may or may not be available in the future, that you're kind of buying in to this franchise early. Um, so that's the hope anyway. I am working to solidify 2023's convention schedule. Kind of behind the gate on that. There's a couple things that I think I'm going to miss getting into just because it's kind of late in the game. There's a couple things I'd like to add, but they're a little farther away, and I'm just not sure I want to pull the gun, having not gone to the convention to see the attendance. And so I might just go and visit this year and then do a booth next year. I don't know. I'll have to look at my schedule and see how that works out. We're already starting to plan for Origins. We're probably going to have a business meeting in a couple of weeks to discuss all of the things, that we need to get together for Origins. Again, that's our biggest show. We're giving that another chance this year. So I'm trying to make lists of things I need to order, make sure that I have all of my book inventory, how much and what do I want to make. I'm trying to develop some more gaming related tumblers that I'm hoping will sell a little bit better there. I have some more gaming type items that I think will sell better in that space. It's kind of a crapshoot. It either will or it won't. I don't really know. Working on marketing and signage just to make sure that things are labeled. Last year we had tried to mix things together because we thought, then they would have to look at everything. I think people got discouraged because it looked chaotic. And so trying to come up with a layout where things are more organized, like here are all the books, here is all the coffee, the tumblers are with the coffee, there's jewelry over here, check out the games, just more of a streamlined approach, and then making sure that you have very clear and eye-catching signage, to bring things to the consumer's attention. We do have a bigger booth this year. We were only allowed to have a 10 by 10 space as an entrepreneur, being our first year. Last year, we splurged and bought a 10 by 20 booth, which is terrifying because it was very expensive. So we barely broke even last year. But we're hoping with maybe some of the changes, marketing changes, and product changes, we will be able to actually make it successful. We do have to consider all of the expenses that go into it. Not only do we have the booth price or the booth costs, we have hotels, parking, food, travel, trying to decide if we want to do a trailer. Trevor hasn't ever pulled a trailer with his truck before, so we're thinking, usually we do a dry run at PeoriaCon, so we're thinking about renting a trailer and just kind of maybe see how that goes. Typically we set up like we would at Origins and talk about things that we like and things that we don't like about the setup. Things get changed, so I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. PeoriaCon's usually our dry run for Origins as far as setup is concerned. But last but not least, we have the best news of all. Today, I went out and checked, and Realm of Thraul card decks are officially here. I am so excited. Now, I'm not going to open it here because I'm going to do a separate unveiling video for everyone. So I'm going to try to film that today. I'll probably do that here on YouTube, and I will probably also post that on TikTok as well. So I am really excited to open this deck of cards. Been waiting so long. I know Rich is so excited about it, and he should be. This is awesome. So this is kind of the culmination of the project so far. It's like reaching a milestone. And then now we have to look at where it is now and where it's going to go in the future. So lots of cool things happening, but we should have these babies at shows from now on. So this is the green deck. It's the black suits. He does have plans to do other colors. He is going to do a red deck. But we're probably going to wait and see how this goes before doing another deck. So super, super exciting. So look for that unveiling video coming soon.